So I've put this movie off on rewatching for quite some time now. It was the very first movie on my Disney Plus watch list. So I decided to finally watch it. I looked up if it was related to Austin and Ally or not, because for some reason for years I thought this was like a crossover Austin and Ally movie. Probably because the main actor is the guy that plays Austin in Austin and Ally. So I put it off until I rewatched Austin and Ally. But I was like, it's been on there forever. I want to watch it, so I'm gonna look up if it's a crossover or not. And it wasn't. He's a completely different character in this movie. Um, so first off, I want to talk about actors that I recognized from other roles and characters that I did not remember being in this movie. So the character of Butchie is actually a guy in one of my favorite horror comedies, Spree. He was one of the characters in Spree that gets killed, the homophobic sexist guy that gets killed. Um, you wouldn't believe how many characters are from horror, because another character named Sea Cat, who I thought was going to have a bigger role, because he does at first get a very prominent role. Like he has a lot of dialogue, he has a lot of lines, but eventually he just kind of gets phased out of the movie. His name's Sea Cat. He's played by Jordan Fisher, who plays Matt in Until Dawn. Just wow, crazy. Garrett Clayton, he also was in the horror movie. I believe it was called Don't Hang Up, and he was also with a Disney star, the guy that played Mason in Wizards of Waverly Place, who I didn't know at the time because at Wizards of Waverly Place as a kid wasn't something I watched quite frequently. The episode I remember the most as a kid before rewatching was like one episode, a dinner episode, which was way before Mason showed up. Um, Another one would be, the main actor Ross Lynch. He played Jeffrey Dahmer in My Friend Dahmer, which I did not review since it's based on a true serial killer, and I don't feel comfortable reviewing something like that. Also, Kevin Chamberlain is in this movie. I knew he was in this movie because of like post on Instagram that because I followed Garrett Clayton, but I did not remember him being in this movie as a kid. He plays some like little evil guy. So finally, let's talk about this movie. It is a musical. The main character, she doesn't like musicals, and she's not a fan of old movies because they had portrayed some sexism that doesn't really go anywhere. Like that's a very prominent part of her role is her, denouncing sexism for obvious reasons, but like it doesn't really go that much anywhere. So she is expected to go to a different college because her mom wants her to go, or her aunt. I don't remember exactly what she was. Or a different high school, actually. But she doesn't want to go. She wants to stay with Ross Lynch's character. And they end up getting sucked into one of his favorite movies, the Teen Beach movie. I don't remember what it was called in the actual movie, though. Um, they get sucked into that, and they accidentally make two of the characters that are supposed to fall in love with each other fall in love with them. Garrett Clayton falls in love with the main character, and then this other girl named Layla falls in love with Ross Lynch. Um, so eventually they have to get them to fall in love with each other. So they just kind of just tell them to go on the beach, and they'll meet them later. And instead they get to talking to each other, and that is how they get them to get back together. Really, really silly. Honestly, I don't have that much to talk about this movie. I thought most of the music wasn't that great. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. Um, I did like the song where they were forced to sing. That one was actually pretty decent. You know, I them singing "Someone Please Make It Stop." I really liked that one. Um, Kevin Chamberlain doesn't get to do that much. Eventually, in one of his final scenes in the movie, they just break the fourth wall. They're like, hey, you're a character from a movie. You shouldn't even be doing this. You have like free will or something. And he's like, oh, I'm a character from a movie? And then he ends up helping the bad guy anyway. But they defeat him and the other guy, and they get blasted off. And then Kevin Chamberlain tells the other bad guy that they're movie characters. And he's like, oh, that's actually very interesting. Tell me more. um, she ends up telling her mom that she doesn't want to go to the high school. She wants to stay here. And that's what she does. I think it's a decent kids movie, and I was surprised that I knew most of these casts from different things now. But honestly, it's a kids movie, and not that much happens, so I don't really have that much to talk about. It's decent. I'll probably be watching the sequel sometime soon.